You know, I feel like I should start making a separate category for when I make a video involving Hillian. Even though the majority of the videos I've made involving him were more focused around the whole kickfic drama, there have been a few other times where he's been involved where I've had to make a video in regards to it. But every time I have, they've all had a specific reason, and it's been warranted. And this video is no different, so let's jump in and go through it, and maybe, just maybe, help her understand what doxing actually is, because I really don't think she gets it. The person I'm talking about is a person named Jordyn Dutchmen, a person who doesn't even have half the following Hillian has. Hell, Christ, I have more followers than that. But Jordyn is someone Hillian has had to deal with for, I want to say, too long. And I think he even described what she does as stalkerish at this point. But of course, it all stems back to the whole kick-vic crap with... Oh, I already made a few videos talking about that, and there are other videos about it on YouTube. Go watch them. I genuinely cannot be fucked going back over it all over again. But let's just get into this. Honestly, the quicker we can get through it, the quicker I can recover the brain cells I lost. So let's start with this tweet, with her saying that Hillian doesn't know what evidence is. As I already stated, I've made videos on this, and other people have as well. And when it comes to the evidence against Vic, that either got debunked or proven false. Do I think Vic's fucked up during his time? Yeah, of course he has. But to everything he got accused of, he spoke in detail about it in an affidavit, and stated that while the base description of certain things were true, the entire claim was false, and he addressed it with additional clarification. And I'm gonna have these on screen for you guys to read, because I do want to not only highlight that this legitimately happened to Hillian, and it can happen to males despite morons saying otherwise, but with how this affects others when shit like this is pulled. Genuinely, it's fucked up, and my heart genuinely goes out to the people who have had to go through this. But let's go back to the tweet at hand, and more specifically to this dipshit named Steven Birdsong, who called Hillian a narcissist and described him as Sheldon Cooper if Sheldon didn't know what punctuation is. And in that respect, I'm gonna side with Steven. Hillian's punctuation isn't the best, but at least it's readable and makes more sense than other shit I've read, including those that did have punctuation. But what strikes me as odd is that Steven is calling Hillian a narcissist when he's not. Hillian will admit to when he's wrong. He'll also fight for what he believes in with proven evidence to back his statements and claims. Also, do you even know what that word even fucking means? Because Hillian sure does. And he's also smart enough to know that if you believe so adamantly like you do, then you'd be proving it. Instead, what you're doing is basically talking out of your ass while not moving on. Seriously, this shit has been going on for 5 years. People have moved on. Why the fuck haven't any of you? Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot who kickfic were for a minute there. A group of sad, pathetic losers who keep bitching and whining about Vic because they have nothing better to do with their lives and would rather pointlessly bitch about him and Quentin Flynn than go outside and touch some grass. And by the way, I'm also a pathetic loser, but at least I go outside and I ain't sad like you people. Yeah, because you would know what a weak little bitch is. You see one every time you look in a mirror. Also, that's a pretty fucking hypocritical take to make, as you guys do the exact same fucking thing, yet you'll throw a bitch in a tantrum whenever someone else does it about you. I think this is another reason why you clowns aren't taking all that seriously. How many is that in the list now? Honestly, I will admit that Hillian probably should stop with all these threads and maybe just buy Twitter Blue to save him the trouble. That's my personal opinion. I'm not even touching this. But I find it funny how you call Hillian a narcissist, and yet Ben can easily tell that you're talking about yourself and just deflecting. Now to address a question that may be on everyone's head. Why exactly am I making this video about Jordyn? Well, truth be told, I normally wouldn't be. Honestly, I don't really give a shit about it anymore. It could honestly go fuck itself to death for all I care. But there is something about Jordyn that needs calling out, that needs addressing. The only issue I have is that struggling overly finding the thing. Really frustrating, actually. For context, I make the search easier by going to Jordyn's account and typing Octavio into the advanced search. You could scroll all the way down to January 2023. And for the record, there is way too many talks about Octavio on your timeline, love. But what I got told is that Jordyn, for some reason, thinks Octavio is this person who goes by Bats on Twitter. And I also got told that Jordyn groomed Bats when he was only 13, and that he even caught her doing it, as well as both stalking and harassing him. Again, I can't find shit because it might be in 2022 or even prior, but the stupid thing won't let me go any further. But I also know that this isn't something Hillian would claim lightly. There'd have to be legitimate reasons for it. Simply referring to Octavio as sweetie, darling, love? Honestly, not exactly the most convincing evidence, as those words tend to get used as words of endearment. While the grooming thing is a serious topic, again, not really able to find anything in advanced search. Maybe that just says something about me. Or the fact that half the people in the logs are either private or suspended. However, in regards to the stalking and harassing, yeah, that much is very much true, and she's even admitted to being a bully. Should also admit to being a dumbass. Because this stupid cow clearly doesn't seem to understand what doxing is, as she goes on posting Hillian's real name, which has either been blurred out by me or him, without his permission to do so. If people were to post my real name, that wouldn't be doxing as I made it fully public. By revealing my private email, phone number, job, or address would be doxing and would get you hit with a fine and even jail time as it's against the law. And if you doing this is also you trying to intimidate him into being silent and shutting up, then you clearly don't know who you're dealing with. This tweet is but another example, as well as being something I don't 100% get. By reading the smaller screenshot, you can see Hillian's talking about the 7 deadly sins and that Jordyn has done 3 of them. Even details them. And then Jordyn's here like, do you even know what those mean? I don't think you know what those mean. I've not done that. You're a loser or some sort of bollocks like that. Again, I don't fucking know. But I want to point out that this is something that has been going on for years with this woman. Since as long as the whole Kick Vic drama. Maybe even longer. And I would also like to ask, can we please be done with this shit now? But getting back to the whole doxing thing with Jordyn explaining how she got Hillian's name, it really doesn't paint her in a better light. If anything, it paints her in a worse one as she is effectively giving subtle hints, okay, maybe not that subtle, that she's stalking him. Because the fact that you decided to Google his username is just, I think you need help. And you following up with this isn't helping matters. Here's what I think you should do, love. Just shut the fuck up, put the phone down, go outside and touch some grass. Or fuck the neighbor's snowman. Or have it fuck you, I don't care, just do something that doesn't involve you being stuck on Twitter being a total bellend. I'll admit that I myself am obsessed with the internet, I'm obsessed with being on my phone. Honestly, it's a bit of a bitch, but at least I still managed to go outside and do something else. Hell, Mondays I'm playing my granddad on the Wii. I also want to point something out. Back to this image, I like how she's hidden his name on his Instagram account. But if she actually went there, she'd see that his real name isn't anywhere fucking on it. In fact, Hillian exposed her for fake screenshots. And it's at this point where I'm now starting to get worried. Because how the fuck would she even know he had an Instagram account without trying to find it? Same with his Facebook account. And the fact that she was effectively almost bragging about it, well, okay, maybe not bragging, but at the very least admitting to looking him up elsewhere, that does kind of come off very stalkerish. I also want to address this tweet she made where she very obviously faked the screenshot, and I can prove she did because I actually searched Hillian's username on Twitter. This bit doesn't fucking pop up once! In fact, I dare you to go do it yourself. Go to Twitter and search the exact same thing Jordyn did. You will see that her screenshot is bollocks and bullshit. And I've been following Hillian since the whole Kick Vic versus ISWV shit was going down, and not once did I ever see his real name. But then Jordyn goes and really fucks up by saying that she points out Hillian changed his username on Facebook, which Hillian told me he did deliberately to prove that you were in fact stalking him. And it also proves that you need serious fucking help. If you actually did want nothing to do with him, you just ignore him and not bring him up. The problem with that, however, is that you won't do that, because from your tweets, you clearly have nothing better to do. And considering I already proved that you photoshopped a screenshot, Hillian's very much on point with that. No clue what the fuck you mean in regards to Wikipedia. But there's yet another issue with Jordyn, which is this tweet. Yeah, I know you can't see the image, and that's because I've blurred it. The reason for that is because it's an address for the AMC, which has apparently closed for some reason. But she is blatantly posting an address of something without their permission. And that's also against Twitter's terms of service. So the fact that you are doing this, thinking that this is in any way okay, is just mind-boggling. In fact, I'm honestly surprised that they've not come at you for it. And I can already predict the dumb budget Princess Anna saying how it's perfectly fine and how it's not illegal, while simultaneously showing that I'm fucking smarter than her, and I mostly just fucking doodled in a bunch of random empty school books. Like, I'm a fucking moron, and yet I'm still smart enough to know that posting someone's address without permission is a big no-no, and can and will come back to bite you in the ass later down the line. She also made a tweet bringing up how Mars Girl apparently took down a major voice actor, Vic Mignogna, and states that she wouldn't stop talking about it if she had done so either. However, there are two problems with this. The first being that Vic is currently the ADR director of Anime Matsuri's new dubbing studio, and he also recently tied the knot. Took you long enough, mate. Guy's still doing his voice acting, and seems to be more happier than ever. The second issue is kinda split into two parts. 2A is that all the claims against Vic were debunked and proven to be wrong, and that you're all full of shit. And 2B is that it seriously doesn't fucking matter anymore. Nobody's talking about Vic anymore. ISWV has moved on and is doing their own thing. The only people who haven't moved on are the brainless zombies inside Kick Vic, because they quite clearly locked themselves inside of an echo chamber and can't find the panic button. And this isn't just in regards to Vic. Take a look at Zombie Kills. You remember her, right? The black Twitch streamer who got called out back in 2020 to 2021 for a whole lot of shit, including invoicing me 2 fraudulent invoices for a total of $4,000 US. Ever since she got exposed as being a narcissist, racist, and a blacklisting bitch, not only has she burned bridges with past friends, but has now also faded into obscurity and irrelevancy. Both her YouTube and Twitch channels are in decline, with her YouTube channel now having less subs than mine, which I somewhat find funny as before it was the other way around. And her Twitch once had over 11k. Now it's down to 9,000 with literally 0 views. She's become so irrelevant nowadays. And as harsh as it might sound, so has Vic Mignogna. And as I just said, Hillian points out that the only people who haven't let this crap go are those in Kick Vic. They refuse to let it go because it's the only thing they have, and without it, they have nothing and they'll fade away like those who got Thanos snapped in Avengers. I'm not even touching this one, as I feel like I'm gonna be here longer than I need to be. And truth be told, I wanted to check out at around 10 minutes before the halfway point. Yes, I get that people deal with their trauma differently, we all do. However, oh fuck this, I'm literally not dealing with it. I genuinely can't be fucked anymore. The whole thing with Monica and Jamie being traumatized by Vic has already been disproven and debunked more times than Arnold Rimmer's failing his astronavigation exams, and I'm just leaving it at that. You want to go look at it, go look for it yourselves on Twitter. But now, let's jump to an individual who seems to be just as thick-headed as the rest of Kick Vic. Enter Timothy Schwartzauer, a character who decided to enter a conversation with Hillian in a thread somewhere, while apparently avoiding allegations of doxing and being a pedo. I got sent this by Hillian, so I don't really know the entire convo, but from how Timothy's responding, I'm guessing getting outed for doxing and being a pedo wasn't sitting well with him, resulting in him reacting, well, the way he is. Especially with him doing exactly what Hillian calls him out for, as he not only calls Hillian by his real name, but even brings up the place he lives. Could you be any more of a fucking cunt, mate? And then Hillian straight up tells him that bringing up the state he lives in doesn't scare him and won't shut him up, as well as calling him a pussy and that he isn't the first one to do it. Of course, Timothy tries acting all cool and shit by calling Hillian unintelligent, but that doesn't work as Hillian calls his ass out for trying to intimidate him and for digging himself into a deeper hole that he couldn't climb out of even if he turned into a 10-foot spider. Hillian calls him out and points out how Timothy should have just kept his mouth shut and not bring up his state as a tactic to try and silence him when that doesn't work on him, no matter how many Wait a minute. It's at this point where something doesn't feel quite right here. For starters, guys don't refer to other guys as sweetie. I don't even think gay guys do that unless it's the stereotypical kind. In fact, I don't even think they do it. But the way Timothy is acting as well does leave questions running around inside one's head. And if you go to his profile, not only does he only have a follower count of 357, the account was made in August 2024, 2 months before these two screenshots. But it's also the part with him calling Hillian Sweetie, and the way he speaks. It sounds almost familiar. Well, that would be because it's Jordyn's alt account, which Hillian and others were very quick to discover, and the Sweetie thing was a big dead giveaway. Even Hillian stated that Jordyn was the only person on Kickflip to refer to others they talk down to as either Sweetie or Darling, which guys don't call each other no matter how fucking camp they might be. Jordyn thought she was so smart, but that one fatal fuck up caused people to uncover the face behind the mask. And if you try and find that account now, it doesn't exist. The bitch terminated it. And she also had her actual account banned, but suddenly it's now back. Personally, I think her account needs to stay permanently banned, as does a bunch of other people who deal with her. Hillian Railgun has far more shit on her than what I've been given by him, so reach out to him to get the full rundown. But hopefully this is enough to show how deluded this lady is, and that she seriously needs to be brought down a few.